A magnitude 7.8 earthquake that struck southeastern Turkey and northern Syria on Monday morning, February 6, 2023. Hundreds of people died in the two countries, thousands more were injured, and the number of victims is expected to continue to grow. More than 20 countries are sending experts and aid to help with the rescue efforts. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has declared 7 days of national mourning after the deadly earthquake that hit the country on Monday. Turkish flags will be flown at half-mast across the country and at its diplomatic missions abroad. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said offers of aid had been received from some 45 countries after Monday's deadly quake, and strong aftershocks were still ongoing. In a televised address, Erdogan announced that the death toll in Turkey had reached 912, adding that some 5,400 people were injured, while some 2,470 people were rescued from collapsed buildings. About 3,000 buildings collapsed in the quake, he said. His announcement brought the death toll in Turkey and neighboring Syria to more than 1,300. As efforts to remove debris continue to be carried out in many buildings in the earthquake zone, we don't know how high the number of dead and injured will rise, Erdogan said. Our hope is that we recover from this disaster with minimal loss of life, he added. I pray that God will protect us and all of humanity from such natural disasters. The latest news reports that Health Minister Fahrettin Koca said at least 1,651 were killed and 11,119 injured in 10 provinces. Hundreds more were reported killed in neighboring Syria. Roman Catholic officials in charge of church property across the Middle East offered food and shelter to victims of Monday's earthquake. The Reverend Francesco Patton, Custos of the Holy Land based in Jerusalem, said he would open all church buildings in northern Syria to provide shelter for families who have lost their homes. Its office, Custodia Terrae Sancti, said the property can accommodate hundreds of people and provide food and medical care to thousands. Diplomats from the 193 member states of the United Nations stood silent to pay their respects to the victims of the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. General Assembly President Recep Tayyip on Monday extended our deepest sympathies and condolences to the governments and people of the two countries. Turkish Vice President Fuat Oktay said such a disaster could happen once in 100 years and that his country should prepare for the rising death toll. Oktay also said some 145 aftershocks had been recorded after last night's deadly quake, with 3 of them measuring over 6.0. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson said the European Union was ready to provide our support to Turkey as well. Sweden currently holds the rotating presidency of the EU. The president of Turkey's Disaster Management Authority, Yunus Sezer, said so far more than 40 countries had offered assistance. Turkey's education minister said schools in the country's 81 provinces would be closed until February 13 following the deadly earthquake. Schools were closed for the 2-week holiday and were due to open on Monday but remained closed in several cities because of the snowstorm. Britain is sending 76 search and rescue specialists with equipment and dogs, as well as an emergency medical team, to Turkey. The British government said the teams, scheduled for Monday evening, were bringing in equipment including seismic listening devices, concrete cutting and breaking equipment, props and supports.